Hey, this is your captain speaking. Alright, first things first. Rad's class versus my class. Alright, it can't even compare. Rad, first of all, I heard Rad is real stinky. He's stinky, he can't really run that well. I've seen him try to run, he can't ride a scooter. Take this class instead of his. Take them both, actually, and compare and contrast, alright? This class is called Keyframes, created by Ethan Becker, that's me. Creating a moment, alright? So, instead of doing a storyboard, instead of doing this full story thing, I want us to focus on creating one single moment that we can capture, alright? In this class, we're going to be going into cinematic storytelling, character exploration, color and lighting, composition, BG setup. The very first thing I did ever before storyboarding or anything like that is creating these keyframes, key moments from the stories that I'm trying to tell. Alright, so this is actually a bunch of old art. So what all this is creating a visual development piece to kind of understand what your vibe is for your whole show. Let's jump into this, baby. Alright, this class is going to come with some homework, some student reviews, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. The very first thing I want you to do, look at me, alright? The very first thing I want you to do is do your first version of any type of story that you want. I want you to sketch it up, you know? Alright, I want you to draw your own story moment right here, fresh, raw, right off the top of your noggin, because, and I want you to do this without looking at any kind of reference. And then at the very end of the class, we're going to do a whole new different version, and you're going to be able to see how you improved from the beginning to the end. Alright, but how do you even start this process? Alright, I'm going to walk you through it. It's real simple. The very first thing you need to figure out is what is the hashtag vibe of your show that you're trying to create, the film or the project that you're working on. Alright, in other words, it's called the genre. You got some horror, thriller, romance, action, comedy. You choose. But the main thing that I see students doing wrong is they jump into a project and they don't even know what the flippin' genre is. How are you going to create a moment? How are you going to create an atmosphere, a vibe to something if you don't even know what genre you're working in? Alright, and a lot of student stuff fall really flat doing this because a horror shot, if you're working on a horror or thriller shot, it's going to look a lot different if you do it in a comedy, you know? Alright, so first things first, figure out what the vibe is of your show. All you have to know is what is the mood that you're trying to get from this. That's all you want to know. Alright, pick your vibe, baby. Alright, I'm about to show you something. I'm about to show you some references, some cool stuff, but what I would want you to do is stop right now and go and try to draw your own little thumbnail for your first thing of the class, and just keep it loose, keep it simple. You know, create your own story moment or something with your own characters. Just keep it loose and rough because it's just going to be your first pass, and then we're going to do a whole new pass at the very end of the class, and you're going to have this learning process. Alright, so, alright, I got a bunch of pages ready with reference. Alright, let's check it out. Alright, let me tell you what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. You're going, in this class, you're going to be making a moment visual development piece, a keyframe moment. You're not going to be creating an environmental viz dev piece, even if it has characters in it, and we're not going to be focusing on action visual development keyframes. Let me see if you can guess what all of these have in common, the moment visual development pieces. Let's take a look. We got a bunch of stuff here. This is from Alex Cho. Amazing pieces right here, very beautiful. Shiyun Kim, amazing pieces, obviously. Ramon has some amazing pieces. Alexander DeBon, or also Zedig. Oh, and there's another Alex over here. Alex Mandrajev, I think is how you say his name. Alberto Mielgo. Got some Dan Cooper here. Some old school Disney stuff like from Tangled. Sergei Kolosov got some crazy dark stuff. Alright, I like this vibe. And also this sick shot I found from Sinbad. So on the left right here's a Dan Cooper VizDev right here. And on the right, which I thought was interesting, is how the actual animation turned out. Okay, so what do all of these things have in common? Relationships. That's what the whole thing is about that we're trying to do, is relationships betwixt two people or more, or a person and an object, or a person and themselves, a relationship within a scene. That's what's going to slap. That's what's going to get people hooked to your keyframe and hooked to your story, because they don't care about anything else but relationships, alright? Relationship, boom. Okay, this is also an environmental piece. They got environment in there, but the relationship is there. This one, there's a relationship between these two people. There's something going on here, right? It's a moment. There's context within this. The relationship between these people and John Snizzle. Relationship, eye contact. Relationship, boom. Hand on this relationship. This one, you know, sometimes I can't explain it, alright? There's a relationship that I feel here within these characters, and there's a party going on. There's a vibe, alright? I consider that a relationship. I consider this one a relationship because there's a moment happening there. There's a huge relationship between these two. Whatever the heck is going on there, that's kind of creepy. There's a massive relationship between these eyes moving here, and this guy's looking off screen. Boom, relationship. Touch, hands touching, this cat right here, petting, hand on cat, you know, that's a relationship. Alright, so let's slide over here to environmental visual development. This is exactly what I don't want us to do. My recording equipment broke down, alright? But I'm going to redo the whole thing. I don't even care. I love you too much. Okay, so this is exactly what we don't want to do, right? Alright, so granted there's a lot of story stuff happening in here, but there's not really like any clear relationships. Basically, like if you were to jump into one of these shots without any context, how are we going to get hooked in there? And there's not that many relationships going on in here. I mean, there are some a little bit, you know, a little bit what's going on, but not enough. Alright, so some type of visual development is specifically used for lighting and texture and stuff like that, so we can see what one of these scenes looks like. We can hand this off to a 3D artist, and they can kind of recreate this scene. That's not what we're trying to do necessarily right now. We're trying to create a story moment, alright? Let's slide over here to action visual development. Joaquin Dos Santos, crazy artist that I learned from, amazing fight shots, but there's a little bit too much like dynamic stuff in here, a little bit, that's like a whole different class, so we're not going to jump into that right now. Ryan Lang, some amazing shots here too, but forget about it, alright? Don't even think about it, alright? That's a whole nother class. Look at this huge page. Alright, I'm about to show you this massive page full of moments that I gathered. Took me a long time. Enjoy. Alright, I'm not going to go through all these, but look, there's relationships everywhere, alright? The eye contact, I'm going to give you this page so you can take a look at these yourself. The eye contact, the head contact, the dad in the foreground here with the mom looking up here. There's a situation, alright? That's what this is all about, is having a situation. So I gathered these from my favorite animations and favorite live action, and I want you to do the same thing. We're going to go over that in a minute. FLCL, every single one of these is a good moment. Look at the relationships here. There's so many really, really cool moments here. I love this. All right, but I'm gonna ask you a question real quick. All right, let's see if you can use your noggin. This is a great shot. All right, but what's the difference between that shot and this shot? Oh, boom! You see it, right? Let's see it again. First, second. It's this right here, these shoulders. Boom. And now his shoulders are up. It's kind of like the relationship of, he's not really his dad, but he's his father figure, right? That's the dad, that's the son. This is the relationship within the situation. That's a pretty cool shot, right? But let's go down to the last shot. All right, here's a different version of that shot. What's the difference between that one and this one right here? Can you see it? All right, the difference is that in this one, you got the two dudes standing here like this, father and son figures, and then boom, back here you got the mom pulling the daughter figure into the house. That's a really cool shot. All right, that has a lot of subtext and stuff to it. All right, this is a pretty good shot right here, right? There's something going on here, but we don't quite know what it is. If we were to jump into this shot, it's like, oh, these two dudes are looking out into the desert. Oh, that's really cool and edgy, right? Wrong. That's stupid. This, what's the difference here? Boom, this shot has a little bit more context. The look on his face is giving us a little bit of something, and he's looking over here at Jesse. So basically, whenever you're going to be going through and selecting your own shots, don't do this one on the left, do the one on the right. All right, look for a little bit of subtext to what's happening. Okay, so the first thing I did was gather all my favorite moments from my favorite films and stuff. I'm not going out and getting something from like some kind of silly, wacky Barbie Polly Pocket thing. Oh, this is all from Tarantino, right? Look, okay, so I want to point out something here is called contrast within a shot. All right, and Tarantino does this amazing. And he also says, all right, a lot. So there's a book right here. Ooh, nice and chill, reading a book, you know. Boom, hand on shotgun relationship right there. Let's go to a different shot, and we're going to come back to that idea. This is a really cool shot, okay? This is very tense moment, holding this chick down. If we were to come into this scene and not knowing anything about this, we should be immediately going like, oh, like what's happening here, right? Without any context to it. He's looking down here, he's looking down here, needles poking down. She's looking down here, and then she's looking over here at him. That's a really cool shot. But what is a shot that I like better is this one right here, because this is a Tarantino-esque style. The idea of this is the contrast. Over here you've got this slick robe. She's putting on a robe, nice and calm and chill, contrasted to, and look at her face, she's just chilling, right? She's just like, what the heck is going on? Contrasted to dead girl in the middle of the floor, right? What the heck is going on? Same thing with the gun over here. You've got the contrast of reading this book, everything's nice and calm, hand on gun, there's something happening here. All right, so let me just hint at another little trick right here. So this shot's really cool, right? There's not too much happening. They're kind of looking at each other, and we're like, something's going on. We don't quite know. What we don't notice is this hand down here under the table. And now if we scroll down, boom, this is the other shot. So this doesn't mean we have to do two separate shots. What we could do is combine these shots, bring the camera a little bit lower so we can see underneath the table and over the table. So don't get stuck thinking you have to do one specific thing, you know. Be inventive. Be inventive. This is a great shot. I just love this so much. He's just like, no context here. These guys got the sex balls in their mouth. This dude's over here. His face is cut off. bringing in this what the heck is going on. You know, that's the vibe to it. So what I'm trying to say is there's multiple shots that might inspire you, but you have to edit it down to the shot that you find most interesting. So let me show you one more example. This one right here, Samuel Jackson's chilling, you know, kind of have that contrast to that, pulls this guy in with a gun to his face. This woman back here's pointed at him. Kind of an interesting shot, right? Let's go to this one. Boom. Samuel Jackson's pointing a gun right at this dude's face. He's looking back at Sam. He's pointing over here at this guy, and he's pointing a gun at her. She's pointing a gun at him, and she's pointing back over here at Sam. It's an amazing shot. There's so much you can do with a shot like that. So the whole thing is, right, like if you can create a moment like this that kind of encapsulates your whole story, then you should be golden. All right, so with that being said, fill this page with reference. I'm going to give you the Photoshop for this file, and I want you to fill this flipping page up with as many screenshots, screen captures as you can. Don't just choose random moments, right? You want to say, what was the point when I like my jaw dropped watching something, or I really just like fell in love with these two characters when they had this moment. Really try to be choosy and go through and just choose a bunch of different ones. All right, but let's try not to do action, all right? Let's try to keep it with moment, you know, eye contact or a moment with a person within themselves, you know. Just a quick example of that is Walter White right here. He's having a moment with himself. So that's a relationship in itself. It doesn't have to be two people. It can be it's like, what's the significance and what's the context behind this? And if you know the significance and context, then that's all that should matter. And so just to give you a little heads up, what we're going to be doing later is picking 3 of our favorite shots, and then we're going to basically be recreating those with our own story. It's going to be fun. You're going to be working on your project. I'm going to be working on my project. It's all going to be good. So again, your homework, do your first version, do your first pass right out of your top of your noggin imagination. Then we're going to compare it to the end of the class. And then your second piece of homework is fill this flipping page up with reference. All right, fill her up, and I'll see you next time.